Joining us now, the founders of community organized relief effort CORE, Sean Penn and Ann Lee. First off, thank you very much for getting to our camera today. I know it's really hard to navigate Los Angeles, but we're so happy to have you both. I want to start with you, Ann. CORE, why did you find it so essential to organize this, and what exactly are you guys offering?
We had a lot of experience during COVID and have great relationships and partnerships here in Los Angeles. And it's happening in our own backyards and affecting our own families. It would be remiss for us not to do something. And we have a lot of capacities because of that. So this is our time.
Sean, what sort of need are you seeing?
Well, immediately on day one, we started to occupy the biggest shelter. Getting out hygiene kits, starting with some cash subsidies. Cash subsidies are so essential right now. People, I keep emphasizing, if you just close your eyes and consider having lost everything and just trying to get basic needs done, trying to find shelter, trying to pick up the pieces of your life. As we move forward, we're working as navigators on the applications for assistance through FEMA. And then also long-term, we're looking at the debris removal, which we've done a lot of. We had moved over half a million metric meters of rubble in Haiti in a very short time. And it's one of these. The picture of this fire is very reminiscent of that in the sense that it seems like it's just beyond repair, and yet, you know, one foot in front of the other, the repair does come, the cleanup does come, and then it's bonding with, working with the families and businesses that have been hit.
You're talking about coordinating with FEMA to try and make sure that people get help immediately. I'm also really struck by the cash subsidies that you're handing out, or the cash that you're handing out right now, because even if you're able to get the first third of the payment from insurance companies for your home and for what you're experiencing, it takes a lot of paperwork to get through that. And they're supposed to give you, I believe, the first third pretty quickly. There is going to be a gap between that payment and what you're able to afford right now. Tell me about the experiences that you guys have personally had with folks. I know every Angeleno has gone through something like this before, or every Angeleno at least knows somebody or is close to somebody who's personally experiencing this right now. Ann, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's even in our own staffing that people have experienced losing their homes and being displaced. You know, we're accustomed to seeing this when we're responding to disasters, you know, in the hurricane belt of the United States and, you know, abroad in the Caribbean, in these places where we know to expect some of these things. But right now, seeing it at the extent that we are here is quite, it's incredible. But again, I think we've been poised to be ready for this because of COVID and the established relationships that we've built over time.
Sean, what about you?
And I would add that the cash assistance available through FEMA, we've known PhDs who can't get through the application system. These things are complicated, and people are preoccupied at the time they're most needed focus. So the navigators that we'll supply, we hope to be very helpful with that. There is also another set of people who are not eligible for that. That's people who, for various reasons, don't have Social Security cards. So they would also be identified among the most vulnerable, which is the criteria for the first spend.
How are you identifying these people? How are you getting to the folks? Because again, there's so much need. There's so much. It's so scattered right now. How are you getting to folks?
So this goes to partnerships, and it goes to the history that we have in the city with grassroots organizations within the communities, with the churches, church leaders, where you're able to, we already have a built-in roster, and we will only be expanding upon that because it's with the Social Security numbers, that then comes out of it. It's why we're in so much need of support and donorship, because that money that we disseminate, it's also, you have people who are undocumented who are in a lot of trouble right now. So we're trying to just take this on as a human cause.
You know, we have on the screen one of those little graphics to scan Bring your phone up to it, and you can get all the resources from CORE. We'll put it up full for you right now for a second. But again, you can go right to the bottom of your screen, scan your phone, and to get all the resources, both from the CORE response and the SoCal Fire Fund, if you want to donate. Sean, I know you guys, and Ann, I know you guys have been to so many of these disasters before. You talked about COVID as one of them, but you've been to Haiti, Sean. We've talked about that in the past. Tell me on a human level, what it's been like for you to personally experience something so close to home, something of this magnitude so close to home.
Well, you know, in the 1994 wildfire in this area, I lost my house. I was in a very fortunate state of mind where I think that more than not, I was able to focus on the stuff I'd been liberated from. But this really goes to the people in different times of life, and the vulnerability of a thing like this happening to a family, you know, depending on what's going on with that family's finances going in, what support system they have in or out of the city, what support system they've lost in or out of the city as a result of the fire. It is, let's say, a lot the same, but more familiar. And for us, I think part of our motivation and part of our kind of excitement about getting in the game on this is we're not going to have to take the time to learn the culture within which we're working. The areas of operations are as Ann said, our backyard. And we know it in the dark as we know it in the day. And so, and a lot of people, the way the CORE works as a community organized relief effort, we're going to be absorbing people from their communities to ultimately take lead in a lot of our programs as we move on.
I would also just add that essentially, much like Haiti, there's so much outpouring in the very beginning of support, a lot of attention, but we need to sustain that. So much of it is focused right now on immediate relief, but a lot of focus needs to maintain and stay there for these communities for the next few years. And so we just encourage everyone to remember that this is a marathon.
Yeah, and remember, there's a lot of different people who lost a lot of people who don't have the same means as others, who are going to need a little bit more help. Sean, I think it's so important what you said about Haiti and how it seemed like there was no way to rebuild. But what you've been able to see in other disaster zones as well, that you just start doing it, and it does happen. You can remove all this debris. You can start rebuilding. One foot in front of the other. It's so hard to see that right now with all of the devastation out there, but it will happen. It's going to take some time. Guys, thank you so much for being with us. I know it's just a terrible situation, but I'm so happy that we have CORE and that you guys are helping out with all of the need that's there. Sean Penn and Ann Lee, thank you.